Welcome, it's your friendly neighbourhood badger here, and I am back with yet another character. I know I've been churning through the characters as of recently, but I've really just been trying to find a character that really kind of resonates with me within solo self-found. I've been playing with lots of different skills. For those of you who saw my last kind of character spotlight video, you would have seen the Armageddon brand and Firestorm Arcanist brand Chieftain. That will hopefully still be on its way, but we ran into a little bit of difficulty with some crafts and everything like that. But what you guys are here for and what you clicked on this video for is this character, which is a Perforate champion. Now, what is Perforate? I haven't really seen Perforate talked about before this league. I've seen it a little bit, but this league it got quite a big damage buff as well. But there's quite a few interesting mechanics to do with Perforate. So, first of all, what is the skill Perforate? If we take a little look at the skill itself, we read, we smash the ground to bring forth multiple spears to damage enemies. While in Blood Stance, multiple spikes burst from the ground in sequence, able to hit enemies multiple times. In Sand Stance, the spikes are thrust outwards. Requires a sword or axe. You are in Blood Stance by default. So, what this does mean is you do actually switch your stances using either Flesh and Stone or Blood and Sand. You can have them both on as auras, and depending on the stance that you're in, Sand Stance, you've got this kind of orangey, kind of teal circle around you, and you'll slam the ground with Perforate, and it kind of creates these sand spikes outwards. Now, if I switch to Blood Stance, right here, we then have lots of spikes coming out of the ground, which is really, really interesting. You can kind of guess that Sand Stance is for clearing, and Blood Stance is for single target. Now, the single target on this character is pretty insane. Right now, we're just using a Terminus Est, and we're in a 5-link at the moment, with a nice Belly of the Beast and a Star Conyers that we have, and we're doing some pretty insane damage against bosses. The 33,000 DPS you can see here on the tooltip, that's per spike, and every Perforate, if I've changed stance recently, Perforate is dealing, I think, 8 to 9 spikes per attack, basically. So basically, we can times that by 9 at the moment. So that's the tooltip DPS, and then we've got all the other damage coming from going crit and everything like that. So this is a critical strike champion. The other really interesting mechanic with this character is Impale. Obviously, going a champion, we are going the Impale route with Master of Metal. We get some extra Impale inflict, but that also does mean, because this hits multiple times, one single cast of Perforate stacks our Impales up instantly. It stacks it faster than Cyclone, would you believe? One of the fastest hitting spells in the game. Or attacks in the game, I should say. So, lots of really interesting things with this character. Let's jump into a map and show it off. Right now, we are level 75, and we are doing, fairly well. I'm just kind of farming kind of the high whites to low yellows at the moment just to get my character level up. And we still have our Uber Lab to get, which is going to give us a huge damage buff, meaning we don't have to worry about accuracy, which is the Worthy Foe. Basically, 20% more damage on top of having 100% hit chance, which is really, really nice. So, I'll go to Sand Stance, and I will go into Perforate. Through mapping at the moment, I am also using Blade Storm, which is another skill that changes between Sand Stance and Blood Stance, and this has just got like Rage on it as well as Fortify, so it keeps my Fortify up as well and everything through map, so I like to use Blade Storm as well, but to deal with harder packs, I do use Perforate, because we have a lot more damage on that. So we're just going to kind of jump through here. We're going to get to the boss so I can show you a little bit of the boss DPS as we get there. Another really interesting thing about Perforate, because it does hit so fast in Blood Stance, life gain on hit is really, really amazing. I don't actually have much life gain on hit on this character right now, but if you're using anything like a Thief's Torment, or if you've got some life gain on hit on some jewels or anything like that, it's really, really, really nice. It's going to, again, hit faster than Cyclone, and stack that life up like absolute crazy. So as you can see here, I'm just going to be zipping through this map a little bit here, and we'll jump into all of this. I'll pick that one up. So that's pretty much how the build functions. We've got to pick up a lot more damage and life on the tree. As I said, we're only level 75 at the moment. One thing I also would like to touch on right here is that this character, and all of these characters that you're seeing in kind of these character spotlights, I do have path of buildings down below if you want to have a look, but they are not build guides in themselves. I'm kind of just jumping through a lot of different characters to try and just figure out, you know, what really sits with me and what I can make a full build guide out of. So keep that in mind. Now, we are in the boss room. I'm just going to clear all of this stuff here. So we are still in Sand Stance. Now that the boss is about to spawn, I am going to put down my Ancestral Protector, turn to Blood Stance, and then just hit the boss right down here. Now, the one annoying thing is I am using a Lion's Roar, which actually nerfs our damage a little bit, so I probably won't be running with this much longer, because we actually want the enemies to stand right in this and not move from it. Lion's Roar really doesn't help us with that. It means that most of our spikes aren't actually hitting. So that damage that you saw there was only a few of the spikes hitting, and not all of it. That is pretty much the build right here. I think the last thing we're going to do is just quickly jump over to the Path of Building. And you can see how this character is looking at the moment, just in Path of Building. Requires level 71, although I do also have my Worthy Foe in here. And on all of the gear that you have seen in this character, without the Lion's Roar, we're dealing 1 million total DPS. That is actually a little bit less than what it actually is, because the Path of Building only goes up to 7 stacks overlapping spikes of Perforate, whereas you can get up to 9, as I said, if you've changed stance recently with a new update to Perforate, which is really, really, really nice. That's pretty much where this all sits. It is serious boss damage here as well, as you can see. We have quite a lot more to pick up, so we've got all of this over here to get all this life, and we've got to go up into here and pick all of this up as well, and then we may also just get some damage through here, and then that's getting a little bit closer to like level 90, and then that sits us around 1.3 million with a Terminus S, which is super, super nice, enough to carry you through the game fairly easily. Yeah, I'm really excited to push this character more. If you want to come check this character out, you can come catch me at twitch.tv/thisisbadgergaming. But apart from that, until next time, Badger out.